talk of darkness, forget these wide-eyed fears. I'm here, nothing can harm you. My words will warm and calm you. Let me be your freedom. Let daylight dry your tears. I'm here with you, beside you, to guard you and to guide you.
Well, Young Talent Time was an Australian institution through the 70s and 80s. It was to launch the careers of many of its regulars, including my first guest today, John Bowles, who has had significant success overseas and here in Australia in cabaret and music theatre. John, nice to have you with us today.
It's very nice to be back in Melbourne, and it's even nicer to hear your dulcet tones on the radio, which I haven't heard for a while.
It's been a while, hasn't it? You and I co-hosted a few little shows up at the Rialto Observation Deck. Remember those days?
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. I do remember with fond memory, yeah.
We had lots of fun in those days.
We did, absolutely.
Yeah. I'd ring you up and you'd dive in at the last minute and you'd co-host a program. And it was great days at 3AK. And we're back doing it all over again.
All over again.
Yeah. Let's go back a bit, John, and talk about some of your history in case some of our listeners need a bit of remembering or reminding. Yeah. Tell our listeners about that great start in Young Talent Time.
It was wonderful. I actually I auditioned to be a contestant on Young Talent Time through my singing teacher, and I was put on, and I got through to the first heat, won my heat, and then the producers called up my parents and asked me if I could come in and rehearse with the talent team. Now, this was a show that my entire family, along with everyone else's in Australia, watched religiously. So you can imagine what that felt like. And 6 months later, they asked me to join the team, which lasted for nigh on 6 years.
So you're only a little... Well, you're 8 or 9, weren't you?
Yeah, about 9 years old when all that all happened. And then, of course, I was teamed up with Tina Arena after she joined just after me. And there was Nicole Cooper and Stephen Zammit and Karen Knowles. They're lovely memories.
They are great days, and the thing we miss in Australian television now, I don't know about England where you're based now, but over here we don't have variety shows as such, and we don't have that opportunity that Young Talent Time gave you to show your worth.
Well, I mean, in the UK, of course, they were the ones that sort of pioneered a lot of the variety television that I suppose we adopted as well, and they really struggle as well, because I think it's the production costs of orchestras and music, the rights cost a lot to actually perform a lot of this stuff, and also to the new music that's coming out on the radio doesn't really lend itself to personality-driven television, if you like. You know, it's got to be all film clips with gyrating hips and all of that sort of thing, which doesn't really do it for me.
Nor me, no. Totally agree. But you go back to the days, and you're young enough to remember Graham Kennedy, IMT days, and Bert Newtons and those.
John Lane.
Yeah, exactly right. Daryl Summers. We've got to have people around the place like that who could get in there and do something, even on a limited budget. You know, I'm just sick of cooking shows, mate. I really am.
Oh, I know. I love some of the cooking shows, but really enough already. And some of the reality programs, they've just started Big Brother back in the UK, and I couldn't care less about things like that. No. I just don't understand how they spend so much time on the air. Yeah. But I agree with you. There's got, music. It's wonderful. And you know, some years ago, I actually did that documentary which was a look back at Talent Time called Young Talent Time Tells All. I sold the idea to Channel 10, and they said, "That's a great idea." And I said, "Look, it's something that John Young can't do. It needs to be done by someone else, because John was always our spokesman. It would be interesting for me and the kids to actually be the ones to do most of the talking." And what was fascinating, because I edited that and produced it, it confirmed to me what the whole nature and beauty of Talent Time was, which was not only was it lovely to see singing, dancing, movement, lovely arrangements and music on television, but to see kids doing it and being sort of, it was just adorable. I mean, I sat there in the edit suite hour after hour just thinking, I could see exactly why we all loved it, because we were all just so damn cute.
But John, that is true. And the songs you were singing were very topical of the day, from Grease to whatever it happened to be at the time.
Yep, ABBA and Elvis and Beatles and whatever. And
what John Young did there was just so professional. It really, really was.
Absolutely.
Really was for today, yeah.
And you know, the other thing, John Young had an encyclopedic knowledge of music, because he's been involved with it all of his life. So he, as producer, was able to suggest mould a whole lot of segments and, what we'd sing and how we'd do them. Of course, he had a lot of help with the other producers and things, but he had quite a hand in, I guess, the backbone of the show, which was based on, as you say, music.
John, in those days when you're 8 or 9 and going on Young Talent Time and there for 6 years or so, did you ever imagine that life, some decades later would turn around and give you what you've got today?
Well, no, I don't. My mother always wanted us to travel. I think it's probably because she came from that generation where there wasn't much overseas travel and before, it was sort of so convenient to jump on a plane. And I always wanted to travel, but I never anticipated that show business would take me all around the world and to, most of the countries of the world, one way or another. I do a lot of cruise ships these days, find myself in all sorts of places. And, I've toured with Phantom and Cats and in Greece and Taiwan and Hong Kong and you name it, Shanghai. I've never heard that track you played.
Haven't you? Haven't you?
I've never heard a recording of me do that. I don't even know where you got it. Is that from the DVD?
No, it's not. It's off YouTube.
Off YouTube. There you go.
Yep.
There's probably a few of them lying about, but
it's a great track. It's a lovely track.
Yeah. Oh, it brings back lovely memories. I love doing that show.
I've got you and Tina sitting here too, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Oh, God, the old recording, yeah. We used to go around Melbourne, around Maya, and we'd do all of the Friday or late-night shopping sort of signings and things.
That's right, that's right. Yeah. Well, of course, you had, as you just mentioned, 1 or 2 of those shows, but Cats, Hello Dolly, Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. Then you had 1,000 of the romantic lead in Phantom playing at Rail. That must have been phenomenal for you.
It was great. And I put my ability to repeat roles over and over. A lot of people are not really well suited to it just because it takes a particular kind of focus, I guess. But I put it down to Young Talent Time because we had such a routine back as kids. We had our rehearsals at week in, week out, and we had the recording days, and a lot of the time it was live, but we had a lot of routine. And I think in theatre, 8 shows a week is difficult, and it can be quite laborious for people who, like to break out and do their own thing. And I just always locked into it and just loved telling the story. I did it for many years with Phantom all over the place.
John, let's bring you back now to Country Gold that you're travelling around the country with, and you're back in Australia to do that. It's a tribute to some of our great legends in country music. How did this one come about?
Well, of course, with the art centres in Victoria, they're always looking for something different. And I always, when people say to me, what's the favourite thing that you do? Is it theatre or television or whatever? I always like the fact that my career has given me the opportunity to do different things all the time. 1 minute it's on a ship and the next it's down in Victoria or at the art centre singing country songs. And I was put the idea that we could do a country show. And of course, with country music, the minute you start looking at the songs that are possible to do, you get everything from Jack O'Hagan to Glenn Campbell to John Denver to Patsy Cline. And I'm singing with Michelle Fitzmaurice. She's a lovely singer. We know one another very well. Everyone always thinks we're married because we just get along so well.
Good. Nice rapport.
It's been a real joy to actually sort of revisit a lot of songs that I've learned when I was a kid, having singing lessons, but never actually performed on stage.
Now, you're going to be performing one of the numbers by Smokey Dawson as well, I see.
Which one's that?
I don't know. I just got on the screen here, Smokey Dawson.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Probably. Did he do? Which ones would he would have done?
Well,
we do the Pub with No Beer and all that sort of thing. We do.
That's Slim Dusty.
Yeah, we do.
I've put you on the spot there, haven't I?
Well, no, it's just that sometimes the people who write these descriptions haven't necessarily consulted with us very closely, but they're on the right track.
Yes, it's all country.
We can throw one in anyway.
Yes.
We have a fun segment at the end where we actually get everyone clapping, and we just do like a snatch of all of the songs that we couldn't squeeze in the show. And it's got, Tie Me Kangaroo Down and all stuff like that.
Good stuff. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Have you played down here before at the Cardinia Cultural Centre?
I don't think so.
It's a good space, good venue.
Yeah. Really I know I've been to Frankston and everything. I don't think I've been to Cardinia.
Well, it's a great space at Pakenham. It really is nice. A great theatre, good acoustics, and it always gets a great crowd there on a Wednesday morning, so we're looking forward to that very much. That's next Wednesday, friends. It's $18. Show is at 11 and morning tea at 10. I dare say you won't be having morning tea before you sing.
I believe there's scones and things.
Scones and jam.
You've got to love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you're also heading down to the West Gippsland area. You're going to the Arts Centre down there. You'll be there, I think, on Friday the 19th of August at 11.
Yes. You know my schedule better than I do.
Yeah,
see?
I do. And to bed by 9.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Mum would say, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Now listen, son, off to bed. Come on. You've got a show tomorrow.
Tell me about it. With all the tracks all around in the minibus, it's bed early, no late nights. No.
So you all hop into the minibus, do you? You travel around Australia?
Yeah, we take it in turns driving.
Do you?
Yeah, we do. I quite like driving, and I don't have a car in the UK. In London, it's sort of a bit superfluous because there's nowhere to park the damn thing, and everything is pretty close by, so I just get on and off the buses and the tube. But over here, it's nice to sort of jump behind the wheel. I quite like driving.
John, when you head back to London, what are you going to be doing over there?
As soon as I get back, I'm home for just long enough to get over my jet lag, and then I'm doing a lovely cruise in the Mediterranean, would you believe, for about 10 days.
Beautiful.
And I go on the ship and do a couple of shows of my own. I do a show that's sort of dedicated to all of the theatre stuff, and then the second show that I present is a show that's more pop material and everything, and that's sort of my job on the ship.
John Bowles, I'm looking forward to catching up with you on Wednesday.
It'll be very nice to see you, Lee.
Yeah, my word. You got any CDs for sale on the day for our listeners?
Yes, I have. I've got a Country Gold CD.
Good.
And
good.
It's got a few Glenn Campbell hits and a few John Denver and We Are Australia and Waltzing Matilda.
Beautiful. Okay. All right, mate, we'll see you down there at 11 o'clock on Wednesday at the Cardinia Cultural Centre, and further on down at Warrigal. You're there on Friday the 19th, 2 weeks
As my mother would say, I'll be there with bells on.
Yes, I can remember that well. John, take care, mate. We'll catch you on Wednesday.
Okay,
thanks, bye-bye to you.
Bye.
The lovely John Bowles there talking to us. And you can see him live. He'll be on stage at the Cardinia Cultural Centre next Wednesday down at Warrigal on the 19th of August, Friday at 11am. Keep those dates in mind. And don't miss this truly great Aussie performer, John Bowles. More in a moment.